What a head, son! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to take you guys through my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 24. Now Game Week 23 has not even ended yet. We still do have that Burnley vs Watford game coming up on Saturday, but nevertheless, with that Tuesday deadline kind of looming in the near distance, decided to go over my initial transfer plan and just talk to you guys about a certain Egyptian called Mo Salah. So throughout this video, I will be talking about whether I'm going to be bringing Mo Salah in or not. And then at the end of the video, I'll also be talking about some other considerations, especially to do with double Game Week 25. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So my future plans, what are my transfer plans going to be for the upcoming game week with all these kind of double game weeks, blank game weeks on the horizon, and what players am I looking to bring in and looking to take out? Well, I'm pretty sure a common theme around Game Week 24 and come that Tuesday night deadline, a lot of knee-jerking is going to be going into bringing a certain Mo Salah into your sides, and he's generally what's been the dominant player in my thoughts, and I'm pretty sure your guys share the same sentiment. So yes, Mo Salah, should you be bringing him in? Should you be taking him out? Well, in the upcoming talking points, I'll be covering his schedule and trying to predict which games will be getting a rest in with that Champions League game against Inter Milan coming up in the near future. Now, I also wanted to just say, if you guys don't know my specific Game Week 23 team, just go watch the video I did create previously. I think it was about 2 days ago, where I spoke about my Game Week 23 review. And yes, I was one of those FPL managers that captained Dennis. But if you guys are an OG of the channel, probably have memorized the squad. But if you have not, go check out that video just to get some background on my transfer thoughts. Now, in my own specific team, the reason I'm looking at Mo Salah was that I did actually have two placeholders in my midfield department, and that was going to be Bruno Fernandes and then also Kevin De Bruyne. So obviously, these two players come in around the same price, makes it a very easy upgrade, either taking out the red or blue side of Manchester for a little bit of red from Merseyside in Mo Salah, and this definitely was the move that I had penciled in. And the reason I'd penciled it in, and the reason I actually brought in Bruno Fernandes and KDB in Game Week 22 and Game Week 23 was because I wanted to do an easy switch to Mo Salah come this Game Week 24 deadline. I thought that Egypt honestly would not get that far in this competition. I thought that maybe quarterfinals would be where their journey did end. I listened to a couple of Egyptian fans, Egyptian nationals. They weren't too confident in that Egyptian side, and they almost kind of described the side as a Norwich with Mo Salah in the forward department. But what happens as AFCON is so unpredictable? Egypt are currently in the semi-final, approaching that final if they manage to beat Cameroon tomorrow evening. So now the whole story's kind of changed with Mo Salah. Will he actually be back for Game Week 24? Will Liverpool give him a little bit of a rest? We'll be going over all that good stuff in the next talking points. And then right at the end of the video, as I mentioned in the introduction, we'll be going over some other transfer considerations, especially to do with double Game Week 25. But now talking about Mo Salah and that schedule upcoming, definitely the player that you want to bring into your sides if he's going to be back fit and playing for Liverpool, as he's the highest scorer this FPL season, and I definitely think he'll continue that trend heading into the last couple game weeks of this Premier League season. But currently Mo Salah is with the Egyptian national team competing in the AFCON competition, and that's going to be the first two fixtures on our calendar. So first of all, he'll be playing tomorrow night, the 3rd of Feb. Tonight's game, his colleague Sadio Mane is playing in the other semi-final of the AFCON with Senegal. But tomorrow Egypt take on host country Cameroon. And if they do win that fixture, or even if they don't, they'll proceed to the 6th of Feb, where the AFCON final and the AFCON 3rd and 4th playoff will also be taking place. So my initial prediction for this Egyptian side and Mo Salah in general is that if Egypt did lose to Cameroon tomorrow and they had the 3rd and 4th playoff on Sunday, I did actually think that Liverpool might make a request to return Mo Salah early and actually have him miss that 3rd and 4th playoff. Now, no disrespect to 3rd and 4th playoffs, but I generally think they're a little bit of waste of time, and that's why I think that Liverpool might have made this request. But news has come about that Egyptian national team might actually be meeting the Egyptian president after the conclusion of AFCON. Now, I do know that Mo Salah is kind of the star player of that Egyptian team and definitely would be meeting the president if that opportunity did arise, and that's why I think it's a little bit hard to predict when Mo Salah might be actually returning to England. But let's just say that Mo Salah does progress to the 3rd and 4th playoffs. We take out all the political events. We just focus on the football. If he does feature in that 3rd and 4th playoff, he then will face the Liverpool fixtures, which will be on the 10th of February. So coming up on the 10th of February is going to be a return to the Premier League in Game Week 24. And that's going to be Liverpool versus Leicester, a nice home game at Anfield. And the turnaround time of 4 days between the AFCON final or 3rd and 4th playoff and the first Prem game might be enough for Mo Salah. But this is where things get a little bit more interesting. 3 days later, on the 13th of Feb, Liverpool do travel to Burnley to take them on in Game Week 25, and Mo Salah might actually get a rest here. And the reason I'm saying that is that 3 days after that, on the 16th of Feb, they do face Inter Milan away, so having to travel to Italy, and currently Inter Milan do lead Serie A in that first position, and therefore I think this is going to be a mighty tough kind of Champions League draw for Liverpool. Now, if Egypt do qualify for the final, pretty sure that Mo Salah will play 90 minutes in the semi-final, if not 120, if the game does go to extra time, as many AFCON games have actually been going to in these playoffs. Then come the final, that could also be another 90 minutes or 120. But I do believe that Mo Salah will definitely play either Leicester or Burnley, depending on the resting situation. But it's quite hard to predict when that rest is going to come. And that's why we're definitely hold those transfers for as late as possible, because I'm pretty sure Liverpool will give us some clarity on when Mo Salah will be returning, as we have seen some other Premier League teams actually give their players a week off or a week's holiday to recover from the AFCON competition. But in terms of FPL and what's in front of us right now is uncertainty, and I never like to make moves on uncertain situations, and especially if most people are going to captain Mo Salah, I might recommend holding off on him and place the captaincy on someone a little bit more reliable to play. But let me know in the comments down below, do you think Mo Salah will be playing that Leicester game or the Burnley game? Do you think he'll play every single game with how close this current kind of Premier League clash has been at the top of the table? I do think there's a chance or a probability that he does actually play in every single game you guys see on your screen at the current moment. But I also do think that it makes sense to rest him, especially before that hard clash against Inter Milan. So post-production Dayvy hopping on this track, literally just was editing the upcoming video for today, and the news has just dropped by a reliable source in terms of Liverpool news that has confirmed that the Leeds fixture will be postponed to game week 26. So what does that mean for us FPL managers? Well, it means a double game week of Norwich at home and Leeds at home for Liverpool. Absolutely sensational fixtures there. Pretty sure we're going to be triple captaining Mo Salah. Just spoke about bringing him in, and this perfectly aligns with our transfer plan of bringing Mo Salah in for game week 26, then slapping the triple captaincy armband on him. Now, before you guys get too excited, this is 4 days before the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley. So therefore, there might be some rotation here, especially in that Leeds game, as Mo Salah is definitely going to be playing in the Carabao Cup final. So he might be actually rotated in the Leeds game. But that's a story for another day, I guess. Before game week 26, we can reassess this, actually see if Mo Salah is looking fit, willing to play about 270 minutes within a week. All that's yet to be seen, but as I've mentioned, perfectly aligns with not bringing Salah in for game week 24 and game week 25, and then looking to bring him in for game week 26. And now going on to our second player that I mentioned, Bruno Fernandes. Now, in terms of the United schedule, I have kind of eliminated their FA Cup game because I think that Bruno Fernandes might actually be rested in that. And if we do just focus on the Premier League and then also Europa League games, this is how the upcoming United schedule will look. So United do play an earlier game in game week 24 on the 8th of February. They do take on Burnley away. Then in game week 25, they double game week, which I have kind of notated in green. On the 12th of Feb and the 15th of Feb, they take on Southampton and Brighton at home. Now, I do think it's quite favorable that these are going to be home fixtures. I do think that increases the chance of Bruno actually playing in both of these two games. And then kind of 5 days after that, a game week 25 double, on the 20th of Feb, he does take on Leeds away as well. Now, in terms of my opinion, between game week 25, game week 24, 5 days is perfectly adequate for rest time, as Bruno Fernandes is naturally quite a fit player and usually stays quite injury free. Then on the 23rd of Feb, they do take on Atletico Madrid away. Now, I definitely think if you guys own someone like Ronaldo, he will definitely play in this fixture. Now, will he be benched before that in the Leeds game? Maybe Bruno as well be rested. I generally think the Europa League is a little bit less of a prestigious competition, and therefore I think United might make some rotation in that one. But United, a team that's also competing for that top 4 spot, might see the Europa as more of a kind of certainty to qualifying for the Champions League. So you never kind of know how United will be approaching this upcoming competition. But in terms of Bruno Fernandes, that game week 25 double definitely going to probably be my captain heading into that game week, just because I think you can't ignore that double game week of Southampton and Brighton at home. So obviously that eliminates now Bruno Fernandes from being my kind of Salah placeholder, as I am looking to captain him in that game week 25 double. And now we go on to our second kind of alternative Mo Salah placement holder. It's going to be Kevin De Bruyne from Man City. So the first thing to know about Man City is that Pep loves to kind of have Pep roulette, loves to rotate his options, but I generally think that KDB is one of the more nailed options in that starting 11. So the Man City fixtures you guys can see on screen here. The first game you can see on the 5th of February is going to be the FA Cup fixture, which I think Kevin De Bruyne might feature in, or there might be some rotation. It is actually a home game against Fulham, and Man City have actually been quite surprising this season, playing relatively full strength sides against these weak opposition, and I think that Fulham game might be no exception. So whether KDB doesn't play that game, plays the game, the next fixture happens 4 days later on the 9th of February, where they take on Brentford at home, which I definitely think that KDB will feature in. 3 days after that, they do take on Norwich away, which I do think might be the game where KDB is rotated, and there might be some rotation in that Man City front line. And the reason for that is that 3 days after that, they do take on Sporting away. Obviously, it is the Champions League, no kind of easier teams in this one, even though I do think that Man City should be beating Sporting. And Pep might actually come out in this fixture, play the full strength side, get a nice win, and then come back to the Etihad and rotate in the second leg. Then 4 days after that, they have a tough game against Spurs, but it is at the Etihad, which I think has been quite an advantage for Man City this season. And I do also expect them to beat Spurs, but I do also think that KDB will feature in this game, and therefore Pep might rotate him in an easier game, aka Brentford or Norwich. But KDB is a tough one. I mean, just looking at these fixtures, Norwich in game week at 25, that looks like a great game to kind of run by. I might actually want to keep him for that, but with the threat of Pep Roulette looming and the Champions League coming up, there might also be some rotation for the Belgium international. But now that you guys have kind of seen all three players' schedules, you might see that it's quite difficult for me to make a decision on bringing Mo Salah in. And with all the uncertainty right now of Mo Salah's playing time, I think that I might just keep Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne. But if I do end up not making a move for Mo Salah, what would I actually do with my transfer plan? It's going to come down to game week 25 or double game week 25. And the two teams that actually have a double, I'm going to start off with the first one, Brighton. Now, the only thing that's a little bit tough about Brighton is that they do actually have a blank in game week 24. And therefore, if you're going to bring them in for this upcoming game week, they will not play. But now casting our eyes to those double game week 25 fixtures, Watford away and United away, I actually do think that the Brighton assets from an attacking and a defensive point of view can get returns in both of these fixtures. So definitely a Brighton asset could be on the cards for a transfer in. I'm thinking of a Cucurella from a defensive point of view, or maybe even a Mopai or a Trossard from an attacking point of view. And then obviously the second team that has a double in double game week 25 is going to be United, that actually have a really nice fixture in game week 24 if you guys do want to bring these assets in. But as a Bruno Fernandes and a De Gea owner, I don't think I'll extend that to a triple up, and I think I might just stick with those two for these upcoming game weeks. But this is basically wrap the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. As a conclusion to the video, I'm not looking at bringing Mo Salah in just because of the uncertainty with his schedule and kind of which games he's going to play, which games he might be benched for. And with Liverpool's tough game against Inter Milan coming up in that Champions League, I think the risk might be too much. But comment down below what your guys' thoughts are. Are you bringing Mo Salah in straight away for game week 24, going to be captaining him, or will you be waiting for about game week 25 or game week 26 to bring the Egyptian international into your teams? Stay tuned for more content coming up. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a wildcard draft, an ultimate guide, team selection, all that good stuff coming up. So hopefully you guys do check out the videos and have my notifications on. But I'm going to be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.